Hello, welcome to Should I Buy This Game featuring Tangram City. My name is Christine, and in this video I'll give you an overview of how the game is played and then share a few things I may like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add Tangram City to your collection. Here we have the game Tangram City, and the setup is really easy. You have your player board, your 23 pieces, your 6 fountains. There are these 2 little pieces, which I'll talk about in a moment, the scoreboard, and your 23 cards. And your player board is actually double-sided. There is, on this side, it's the black buildings, and on this side, it's green. So you can start on either side you wish. It doesn't matter. They're in the exact same spot. And all the boards have the starting things in different positions. So we can talk a little bit more about these now. It's your tree and building. And the point of this game is trying to get the exact same number of trees and buildings into your city. And these will just track them as we go. I'll lay them down. It'll be easier. So currently we have 1 black building. So they suggest at the end of the round, counting them, but we find as we place them, we like to sort of keep track and then we verify at the end of the round. So on the first round, you're taking 4 cards. Now, depending how many people are playing, depends on, there could be a card in the middle, people could have cards, all that. But what we found was easier in the end, it really made no difference, that we would just take 4 cards, put them aside, and turn 1 up. So this is our first piece. You just get the piece and match it. So this one, you've used these little lines to decide where it's going. So if I was to put the piece here, then by having 1 black building and a green park, automatically copies or like crosses 1 off. So that wouldn't be added when you're doing your calculations because it's already half and half. So that would be the first, and I would put that card aside. We turn over the next one. This is the piece here. Now when you're placing them, they don't actually have to touch, but at the end of the round, we're looking for a triangle to score points. So it's best if you can make them touch. So I might put this one here. And then at this point, I have 2 complete green squares, so I can put my tree on 2, just to keep track for myself. The next card is a square. So I might put a square here. And now I have 2 complete black. I added 1 black square, so it's 1, 2, 1, 2. And I only have 1 more card to try and fix this rectangle. So it is this piece here. So now when I'm looking, I'm trying to be, is there a way I could get a bigger rectangle out of this? If I complete this square here at least, I would at least complete that. So I might put this here, and these 2 cross each other out, so I added 2 black squares. And this, you're keeping track throughout the game, but it's at the end of the game that it's scored. So that is the end of round 1. So at the end of the round, you calculate by a rectangle. So I have a 3 by 2 completed rectangle, because these are not part of a completed rectangle. So I would receive 6 points for this round. So I move it there. And that's the end of a round. And then you're going to repeat it. You get 4 cards. If you want to deal them the way it says in the book, you can do so. But as long as you just have 4 cards, and you would just turn it over, that is, here it is, this piece here. So some of these pieces get to be a little bit more challenging to fit in because of the angles. So where these angles are, this piece, I can't put it. It's not going to help us. So I may just move it over here. Now I'm ahead on black, so I'll probably use the green side. Maybe I can do, maybe I will put it down here. And again, as I said, they do not have to touch, just because of the rectangles. I like to. And so now I'm back to being even with my black and green squares. I'll do one more. And it's this piece. So now I can try and fit the, oh, you have to make sure there's two pieces. This actually isn't the piece because this piece is similar. So you have to see which one. So it's actually, this is the piece for this card. If it has the little mark there saying that be careful, choose the right piece. So since this is the piece, it actually won't fit. I wanted the other piece. It won't fit in here. So I have a choice. I can put it in here. I can do it there. I might just put it in here. And I added 2 black squares to my board. Okay. So then I have this piece here. So finally, can I put something here? I can put it here at least. I want green though, so I'm going to do this. Always cat fur. So here, oh, I forgot to do something. I'll do it after this. Here, the 2 green form a square and this one. So I'm adding 2 green squares. Like, so 2 green triangles form 1 square. I forgot at the end of round 1, I was supposed to add a fountain. At the end of every round, you add a fountain. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. And so I'm going to put it here. And wherever you add a fountain to that color forms a square. So that's going to be another green square. And then I've got this last piece, which is this one. And I know my green's going to jump ahead. I'm okay with that because that fits in perfectly there. So I added 3 green to that. And that's the end of the round. So therefore, I need to add a fountain. So I'm going to add my fountain here. I move that ahead 1. So either, let's see, I have 3, 4 by 3, 12, I think is my biggest rectangle. Because I don't have this, I can't count that row. So I think for this one, I get 12 points. So I'm going to continue the board and play along, and then I'll come back to the end of it. So I'm almost done the game. Earlier, I had this piece here that I decided not to play. And you won't play every piece. There's actually more squares on your board than there are pieces. And for the last round, you have 3 cards. And for that one, you just put them all up, and people can put in the pieces how they want. Now on my track, I'm 16 to 18. And I know I want to put this one here, and it will only fit the one way. So that's 1 green. Now this piece here won't fit in. It doesn't work in what I have left, so I won't be placing that one. So I have this piece and a fountain left. So I'm looking here, and I'm thinking I'm going to play this green, and that will give me 2. And then if I play the fountain on the black, I should be even. So I can place this one here. I move that up by 2. I put my fountain here on the black, and I managed to make my board 19 to 19 squares, minus the halves that are already that one there and here where they don't count. So that is pretty good. Now when it comes to scoring again, I'm looking for the rectangle, and I now have a 7 by 6 rectangle completed. So I get 42 points. I am currently at 62, so it's 10, 20, 30, 42. I turn it over to 100, so I'm at 104. And then we look to our sides here. So because I got them on the same square, I get 20 more points. If you had 1 to 2 apart, you get 10 points. 3 to 4 apart is 5 points. And if they were more than 5 points apart, no points. The other thing is if you're managed to complete the entire thing and fill these in, you would get 15 points. Personally, I have never done that, but Gemma has done it twice. I don't know how she does it. And so that is basically how the game is played. Now I'm going to talk about things I like about the game. And the first thing is we really like the fact that there's all these different size pieces. If you've played like My City or My Island, you'll really understand the concept of this game because it's the same thing, flip a card, place a piece. But with their games, well, they're squares, but I like here how they're all really sort of odd shapes, all the triangles and that. It just makes the puzzle of the game a little more interesting. We also like the strategy of equaling your green to your black. I've managed to get it on the exact same number every single time I played, so it's easy to do so. Sometimes, though, you might end up a bit over or under. But if you're paying attention to it each time you're laying things and finishing rounds trying to be fairly close and easy to catch up, you'll easily be able to complete that goal. The other thing we like is how simple it is to set up. You have your little bag. Everybody has their pieces separated. So it's really easy to set up, and you could play this with anybody. And because it plays in less than 30 minutes, you're able to play. We played like 3 games back to back in the one evening when we played. And so those are the things that we really enjoy about the game. And now a few challenges to the game. The first one is if you don't start working on your rectangles to score those points early, you can fall behind. Because your first rectangle is not going to be much, but as you go through the rounds, those points really start to add up. The other thing is some of these pieces can be awkward. Like this piece here, I got it just in time to fit in. But this piece, if you get it too late, because it's only corners, some of them can be really awkward to fit in, like how I had this piece at the end and there was no way it was fitting in on the board. So that's the one thing, but it also is what makes the game interesting. And the last thing I just want to say about the game is the fact that other than making sure you're like 50-50 in your black and green, there isn't a lot of challenge to the game. So my only concern is in the long haul, is it a game I'll continue to play? And just for what it is, you just want a quick game, we pull it out? Or is it a game we'll get bored of because the challenge is no longer there? But only time will tell with that one. So that's just the one thing to keep in mind. There's no campaign, there's no extra strategies of that other than making sure it's 50-50 and placing your pieces. But because of that, it also makes it good for a starter game. So depending on what you like when you play your games, you can use all that information to help you decide, is it a game you think you want to add to your collection? And let me know in the comments if you've played Tangram City and what you think of the game.